CATEC website. And we're going to go ahead and get started with the roll call.
Dr. Acuff?
Here.
Ms. Carlson?
Here.
Ms. McKeever?
Here.
Ms. Osborne?
Here.
Mrs. Puryear?
Here.
Mr. Wade?
Here.
Okay, so we're going to go ahead to the adoption of the agenda. The agenda is on the screen. Anybody have any questions or motions?
Nope. Move for approval of the agenda.
Well, I think we needed to potentially, I don't know if Mr. Wade, if you saw the email chain, but if from James Pierce about the Boys and Girls Club, if that needs to be added.
I thought you already added that. I'm sorry. That
yeah.
was my understanding of what we were doing, Stephanie.
It's added on
we
the
do
one
that under-
I have.
Okay, sorry, I'm
It's-
confusing things.
It's 20-39.
Okay,
So we can just say the agenda as amended.
As amended, yes.
Second.
Okay, I'll call the vote. Ms. Chisholm?
Dr. Acuff?
Yes.
Ms. Carlson?
Yes.
Ms. McKeever?
Yes.
Ms. Osborne?
Yes.
Mrs. Puryear?
Yes.
Mr. Wade?
Yes.
Okay, the next item on the agenda is the approval of the minutes.
I move that we accept the minutes. We approve the minutes.
Okay.
Second.
Okay, great. Any discussion or further comments? Okay, go ahead, Ms. Chisholm.
Dr. Acuff?
Yes.
Ms. Carlson?
Yes.
Ms. McKeever?
Yes.
Ms. Osborne?
Yes.
Mrs. Puryear?
Mr. Weir?
Leah?
Yes.
Mr. Wade?
Yes.
Okay, great. Thank you all for that. Now, are there any members of the community who are signed up to speak?
No, we're not.
Okay. Is there any members of the public who would like to speak at this time? Hearing none, I will go ahead and move to the next item, which is the financial status. Stephanie, do you have anything to say about financial status?
in your board book, you got reports on the day-to-day finances of CATEC and the monthly reports. They're all just normal, nothing surprising day-to-day operations. All the bills have been paid, and I recommend that you approve the financial status. Our expenditure report is a follow-up to the last board meeting. We projected unspent revenue of $166,956. Our actual unspent revenue, which has not been audited, but is $199,068. That's due to just reduced spending because of the shutdown, from simple things like electricity to, toilet paper not being used. That is a difference of around $32,000, and it's our recommendation that money go into our fund balance. And we continue. It's already been approved to protect the $166,956.
Stephanie, when will the audit occur? Because you say that this is prior to the audit.
The unspent revenue, that won't happen until winter. Like I think around January is when we have our next audit again. This is what we're calling this the actual unspent revenue. I'm just making a note that it's actual on our end. It just has not been audited.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
Are there any other questions or comments from Ms. Carter?
I don't have anything else.
Okay, or a motion?
I move that we accept the financials as presented.
Second.
Okay, all of those and any other comments? All those in favor, Ms. Chisholm's going to go ahead and call the roll.
Dr. Acuff,
Yes.
Ms. Carlson,
Yes.
Ms. McKeever,
Yes.
Ms. Osborne,
Yes.
Mrs. Puryear,
Yes.
Mr. Wade.
Yes.
Great. Thanks, y'all. Ms. Carter, this is about bank signatures is the next item.
Yes, it is the next item. I feel like this is on here every time, but we
I was going to say, didn't I sign something?
did, and we had a change. So since Doug Keaton resigned, we need to add Anthony Smith, who's our new assistant principal. And there's been a title change from Marlene Hall as approved in the last board meeting as well. So those two changes need to happen. Nothing out of the ordinary, just so that everybody can do what we need to do.
Ms. Carter,
Yes.
SunTrust Bank has changed their name. They're now Truist.
Okay. So I will make sure that Marlene makes that change. I'll make a note.
Okay. Any questions about the bank signatures? / motions or action?
I move we accept the bank signature changes as presented.
Second.
Great. And we'll go ahead and call the vote now.
Dr. Acuff,
Yes.
Ms. Carlson,
Yes.
Ms. McKeever,
Yes.
Ms. Osborne,
Yes.
Puryear,
Yes.
Mr. Wade.
So, I mean, Dr. Atkins just sent the note to Leslie to turn on the camera. I don't know if everyone got that chat. I don't.
Thank you, Mr. Wade. I am on, but it won't allow me to turn the camera on. I can operate the mic, but not the camera.
Okay.
Thank you.
Mrs. Panic, are you able to do anything with Dr. Atkins' camera? I don't have the capability.
I was just checking. I can turn on her mic, but not her camera, unfortunately, with my controls.
And while we're waiting, that's okay. I'll try to go to another device and see if that opens up. Thanks.
Thank you. Appreciate it. Okay, so Ms. Carter, you have some direction. You're leading the charge in.
Yes. So I thought that our center board, we've been working closely with Albemarle County Public Schools as well as Charlottesville City around our plan for reopening. So I don't anticipate that there's going to be any shocking news in this for you all, considering all that you all have heard and all the decisions that you guys have made around this. But I did want to share with you where we are and what we've been doing. We will open the school year in a fully virtual model. Our teachers, many of them will be using Schoology, and a couple of them will be using an industry standard online curricula. So NCCER is their building trades and electrical program, and then we have a program for cosmetology. And those programs are the industry standard. So they'll be using Schoology, but to a much less degree. Our summer has been spent training our teachers on a flipped online classroom model. Megan Panic, who's hidden on here, but is incredible and amazing, our instructional coach and English teacher, has spent untold time helping our teachers understand and learn a flipped classroom model. We're really lucky to have Megan. She comes from a virtual school and she's been here for a number of years. So she brings an amazing perspective and we're really, really lucky to have her. She offered, before we went into summer break, all of our teachers participated in a 5-week online flipped classroom model professional development with her, and several have taken some additional training. We also recently ordered GoPro cameras. If you're not familiar with a GoPro camera, it's an action camera, and you can adhere it with a strap to your head, not glue or anything, but to your head or to your chest. And so it gives we'll give our students, when we're really looking at, we're so hands-on, giving our students a first-person perspective on skill demonstrations, so that, for instance, when Matt's doing demonstrations on how to repair an engine, when he looks into the engine, students can actually see what's there. We'll also, using that technology, be able to record videos, put them on thumb drives for our students that don't have access to the internet. I'm I think that we will also put them on YouTube, but we will be able to have them in a hard, in a copy that students can pick up and take home. We are also currently working on creating student toolkits. So Matt also has found little miniature engines that all of our students are going to get, along with the tools to repair and work on those engines, so they still get those skills. All of our students will get the tools that they need. Of course, our cosmetology students will get a mannequin and scissors and all the things that they need to do hair. So all of our kids will have the tools they need to be able to do hands-on learning that we would traditionally do at CATEC. We will do synchronous learning just like the other 2 school divisions, but we will also do asynchronous learning, office hours, and just like the other schools are doing as well. So we'll connect with our kids online, but also one-on-one as needed. We're also gonna do some check and connect training with our teachers, as well as really beefing up our student support team, led by our new school counselor and our ESOL family engagement person, to make sure that we are keeping our kids engaged and keeping our finger on the pulse of where they are. I think that one of the things that worries me the most about going online is just the connection, building the connection that we've had with students. Megan and our instructional faculty is also currently working on an orientation model that all of our students will go through. And it will include a video of our teachers and their space. So still trying to connect with our students in the way that we would face-to-face, but just in a different way. We just have to rethink it. We will follow the stages that Albemarle County Public Schools follow. So as the school board, as Dr. Haas makes those recommendations and the school board approves, whatever stage they're in, we will follow. All classes will operate during blocks 1 and 2. I have had unbelievable and incredible support from the every single base school principal. I've talked to them sometimes numerous times a day as we've tried to figure out, okay, I've got 2 different school divisions and they're doing similar things, and I'm really grateful for that, but there are little nuances. And so working with Dr. I to try to make sure we get all of our students in Charlottesville served, and then with Dara Bonham and Jason Lee and Rick Rahovac at Albemarle, and they've all agreed to schedule our students block 1 and 2, so that when we go into the hybrid model, we'll still be able to serve them. Our instructional model will translate to advanced stages, as I was just saying. So the instructional model that we're working on now and that we're putting in place, as we move along that spectrum of stages, it should translate. And then I just wanted to let everybody know that we're going to have a town hall on the 18th at 6 p.m. to answer questions for parents. There are lots of questions about CATEC. Is CATEC going to happen? What's it going to be like? And it's going to be the same as a base school that offers a science lab class. We're going to do all that we can to make it really rich and engaging, but we are not going to lose this school year with our kids either. So I feel like the most relevant information to share about our reopening, and I wanted to make sure to answer any questions that you guys had.
Who has a question?
Stephanie, will going virtual affect any licensing standards? Like when you mentioned the small engines, I don't know, but I imagine that there's some standard that they have to be able to show it on a real engine. Are we just waiting till we go back into school? Or what's your thinking around that?
Well, what my thinking around that is, I'm planning for us to be able to, at some point, have hands-on instruction, and our teachers are planning for that and laying the groundwork. But also, I think we've been in touch with a lot of our industry, our accrediting agencies, and everybody knows that schools are in this situation, and so they're really working with us around hours. We just got word today that the Board of Nursing, Shannon spoke to them, and the Board of Nursing is going to allow clinical hours to happen. We still have to get 40 clinical hours, but they don't have to be in assisted living, which is good because we can't get in there. So I think it's kind of a moving target, to be honest, but we're going to be prepared whenever we're able to come back for some hands-on instruction.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Who else has a question?
Well, it was along the lines of what Katrina asked. I mean, but are there any of our classes that we really just can't do online? I mean, what about our culinary arts? I mean, I guess we all watch people chopping on TV, but ultimately you actually have to, I mean, are we going to deliver a box of food to them so they can learn how to chop an onion at home? I don't know.
That is our plan. That is our current plan.
Okay.
Our current plan is that we will, our current plan is that we will provide them with the tools they need to cook at home, as well as the food that they need to be able to cook what they need and take a video or demonstrate that they're learning. It is really our hope that at some point we get our students in classes and in the kitchen, but in the meantime, we're not going to let this be a dial-it in situation. Our kids, we want them to have a rich educational experience.
I have to say, Stephanie, I think you have one of the more challenging curricula across the school divisions, because almost by definition, everything we do at CATEC is hands-on. So it sounds like you've been running to keep up.
Well, I think we all have, and I honestly at times think the same thing, but then I speak to my colleagues and they're figuring out how to serve our students that are in A base and B base and C base, and so I think we all have real challenges. I think that for me, what I'm hopeful is at the end, the exciting part is that our teachers are going to have these really well thought out and planned online courses that we can use for flipped instruction. If a student misses a day of class, we built this repository. And so while this is challenging, I'm really looking at it as an opportunity to move CATEC forward too.
I mean, some of your teachers are not traditional teachers. I mean, what kind of support have you found that they have needed?
Well, we have a couple of things. They need support for sure. I think as I said, we're incredibly lucky to have Megan, who has a very strong background in virtual education. She's been amazing. I have a background in instructional technology and virtual education, but I've been able to leverage, as far as figuring out the GoPros and our webcams, I'm able to use my resources to help support teachers that way. I think we're all just pitching in. It's just like everybody. We're all pulling from the well of things that maybe we haven't tapped into for a while, but we're all together going to make this happen. We decided this year for PLCs that we will have one big PLC. We only have 11 teachers, and so that's not even a giant PLC. We are going to meet for 2 hours every day, every building level day when they return. And so we will side by side help our teachers build their class, get in there with them to use the GoPros and to create the demonstrations that they need to create. So we're all going to be beside each other doing this, making it happen. And also Albemarle County has lent us, I don't know if lent is the correct word, graciously assigned an LTI to us this year, which we haven't had in the past. And so John Mitchum's already been reaching out and knows a lot about Schoology and is going to help us as much as he can too. It's incredible how people have come together.
Did you say LPI?
LTI. It's a learning technology instructor.
Oh, okay.
I may have butchered that. I'm sorry. Still learning all the acronyms. Is that right, Dr. Haas?
You were close. It's a learning technology integrator.
Oh, thank you.
It's an instructional coach for technology.
Okay.
Stephanie, speaking of people coming together, have you explored has anybody reached out, community partnerships or other things? I know that PVCC just announced that classes are free if you're under $65,000. And so is there any way, have you thought of any collaborations or any creative thinking around that?
I honestly have not really had anybody Boys and Girls Club we're going to talk about. I have not thought of partnerships that way.
Okay, just curious.
Well, thank you. Any suggestions? I'm more than happy to.
I don't know if we have aligned coursework with PVCC or not, but I'm just curious if they're offering it for free now and if there are any ways.
I'll have to research more what PVCC is offering for free and see what we could do likewise. I don't know. I have not looked into that, Katrina, but I'm going to make a note.
Yeah, and I'm not saying that anything is necessarily going to come out of it. I just am always curious what opportunities are out there.
It sounds like, Stephanie, that you're doing a lot of innovative collaborations just in the building, which is great. And it sounds like you've been doing, your teams have been working hard to find models and alternative ways to reach students at home, which feels like a Herculean task. And I appreciate your efforts there and your team's effort. I think that is a model that worked pretty successfully in summer camp for like my 8th graders. So I think, or not my 8th grader, but the 8th graders in the engineering program that we have at Buford. And I think that at least for the first quarter, that is going to be helpful. I think it'll be a good way to kind of get people back into school, especially with the family engagement piece that you're talking about. So.
Well, thank you. I should mention too, the last few bullets, which I mentioned the LTI, but we also just recently, the state released an application for CARES Act funding for regional technical centers that includes not only regional technical centers, but governor schools and some other part-time student programs. So we have that application in process and nearly complete. And so we'll apply for some additional funding there. Also, we have a COVID reentry team, and I'm sorry, I'm jumping around, but we're working on a statewide regional technical center PLC, which I think is pretty innovative and exciting. I have a good partnership with the other directors and regional technical centers around the state, and we've come together. We're realizing a lot of our teachers work in silos, and so we are going to connect them to do quarterly PLCs to share ideas in this really strange environment. And then also, I've been included on so many meetings and groups in Albemarle and in Charlottesville, and that's been incredibly helpful. So, like I said, lots of support around helping CATEC reopen.
Does anybody else have any questions or comments about the reopening plan that Stephanie has presented? Okay, great. Why don't we go ahead into the email that James sent us today? I think that's the next thing on the agenda. No, student enrollment is on the next. Yes.
I wanted to update you all on our student enrollment. We've had really wonderful student enrollment this year. Currently, and it's a moving target right now. It's sort of in flux as we get enrollment straight in school at this time of year, just in general. Right now, we have 320 students that have enrolled for CATEC. We have 20 students on wait list. We only have 2 classes that are not full auto body and firefighting currently. We have 116 enrollments in our academic classes. So English 12, English 11, economics and personal finance. That number does not include the students that are I'm going to work toward biology 2 credit in vet science and in EMT. And then it shows you here by base school how many students we have enrolled. And so you can look at that.
Great, thank you. And who has a question or comment?
I'm sorry to have so many questions, but is that the standard ratio for how many out of Charlottesville versus Albemarle? I just want to know if it stayed about the same.
It is. There have been spikes at times with Charlottesville. This is very similar to the number last year.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
And Stephanie, the total enrollment looks a bit up from last year. Is that true?
It is true. The last time I looked, so when we looked at this in May, which the enrollment is pretty similar, in May of last year, we had about 270 students enrolled. And so enrollment is actually up substantially. And I think that that's in part due to the academic offerings that we're able to offer this year. I think that out of the 116 students, I should have broken it down. Economics and personal finance has like 65 enrollments. And so I think the fact that students could take economics and personal finance and one of our trade classes really helped loosen up their schedule so that they could get over here. We didn't know it'd be virtual then, but we're still moving forward with all of our academic classes as well.
So Stephanie, how will we address our waitlisted students?
Well, I think that our waitlisted students, as enrollment really begins to flesh out, I feel like some of those students will definitely get into classes. We'll lose students and gain students and move students around. The classes that have the waitlisted students are the ones that we have traditionally had in the past. Auto tech, building trades, electrical. And there are not enough students to even advocate for another teacher. It's like 4 or 5 students. One of the things that we did this year is in auto tech, which is a really, really popular class. Our year 2, because you lose some students between year 1 and year 2, we are putting a pod of 4 year 1 students in the afternoon. And so Matt will be able to serve those students and his year 2 students at the same time. So we have looked, that's one of the reasons, another reason I think enrollment is as high as it is. We were trying to be really creative about using seats that were actually open that we haven't maybe leveraged in the past.
Okay, thank you. Stephanie, any other comments? Great. So now we'll go to the Boys and Girls Club use of facilities questions sent to us today.
I don't have a slide for that, so I'm just going to talk because it came up really late this afternoon. But I got an email from this afternoon around 2, or I guess somewhere around there, from James Pierce, who's the director of the Boys and Girls Club, and he is looking for a location to relocate Jack Jewett's, the Boys and Girls Club that's located at Jack Jewett. We talked very briefly, and so he sent the request to the board, and I just wanted to be able to respond to questions. I have a lot of concerns about use of the building for students that are, or children that are 6, 7, and 8 years old. I don't think that we're probably an appropriate building. I also have concerns around safety for our staff and what that would look like, and the fact that we're not having CATEC students, but then to have 80 other students, I think would be really hard to justify to the teachers. So I certainly want to hear the feedback from you guys, but I guess my recommendation and ask is if we don't deny the request, that you grant me the authority to work with James and make the decision after having him come and having a further assessment of the needs.
Okay, so that's so James had not approached you before he sent that email to us?
No.
Okay. And his proposal is for basically elementary kids, not like middle school or?
Middle.
No, it was when I spoke with him today, he told me that he has, I guess they have about 86, 7, and 8-year-olds that they want to offer a place during the day for working families, which I get, and I love the Boys and Girls Club. They're looking for 5 to 8 spaces where we can have classes of 10 or less. They need a front office space as well as a space to do health screenings before they come in the building. They need an outdoor space, and they prefer rooms with windows. A lot of our spaces will not work. I mean, a lot of our spaces are specialized labs, so I could not let them be in the cosmetology lab or the auto tech lab or even our vet science lab. A lot of our spaces just simply would not be feasible. I also have a lot of worries about having students that age accessing the field, where behind CATEC there's a lot of wood, there are nails, there's screws. You can get to the field, but you have to go through their cars, and there's a lot of stuff that doesn't seem safe for students that age. And then the other place, the other kind of open grass area we have is on the side, but that's very close to Rio Road. I'm certainly willing to have them come over and and walk around and look, but I have a lot of concerns about it.
Yeah, I mean, this is one, I think that as I read it, these are county kids.
It sounds like it, yes.
Yeah, so I mean, I think that they may have taken into consideration, but maybe not. At the very least, I think that he should come over, or his staff should come over to take a look at, to see what your concerns are, that, you know, should it not work, that they understand why. It's not because we don't think we don't want to work with them type of thing, you know.
Right.
It sounds like, okay, so what anybody else have any questions or comments about that?
Madam Chair, I think that the Girls and Boys Club, as the Y, are looking at various facilities to see if facilities can accommodate their particular needs. And so I see this as Stephanie and Juan see it as an exploratory activity. And I think based on some of the concerns that Stephanie has, they will probably be bared out once you can see them. I mean, you see a facility from the outside and you make certain presumptions, but until you actually get in and look at it and see that it will or will not meet your needs. And so I think that in my mind, if you invite him to do a walkthrough and, you know, point out the concerns or shortcomings or inadequacies or whatever terminology you want to use. But I would also defer to your superintendents and ask them what their opinions are.
I would just second what Leah was saying about, or Ms. Purrier, about this doesn't seem like we have adequate information at this point to really make a decision. This is more just an exploratory email that he sent. So I welcome more information coming back. I will say on the Albemarle County side, I know he said in his email that we're denying his, but we haven't discussed as a board what we're doing with our facilities. And so it seems premature, and maybe I'm putting words in your mouth, Ms. Purrier, but it seems premature to make a decision at this point, whether we allow him in or not, because we just don't have the information.
Right. I don't think we're deciding to go forward, but I think that if he's looking, the types of things that Stephanie has expressed would be concerns based on the age of the students. But some people, you know, if they don't see it with their own eyes, they're not gonna get it.
Yeah.
I think that today, the reason that we added it to the agenda is I think they'll need a decision before we meet again. And so that's why I was asking that if we don't deny the request today, that would the board grant me the authority to make the decision after meeting with them and gaining more information and truly assessing the situation. How do we move forward so that they know that, you know, the beginning of school is going to be in what, 3.5 weeks.
Mm-hmm.
So, and before we meet again. And so making sure that he has a decision in adequate time to move forward.
I think if the board wouldn't mind, I think I'm comfortable leaving the negotiations and decision to Ms. Carter. If anybody has any concerns about that, I'm sure me and Katrina would be happy to also be able to, along with the superintendents, bounce off any issues that Ms. Carter might have or concerns that she might have, as she needs anybody to kind of bounce off ideas.
Stephanie, I'm comfortable with you making the decision with the one caveat being that I want to express that I too have concerns about kind of arriving at what would seem like a little bit of a, hypocritical is not the right word. I haven't been able to come up with the word I'm looking for because that's so negative, but a decision that doesn't make sense, that we're keeping our staff and students out of the building, but then letting in other students and organizations. And I worry about that. So I guess I would just want to express that to you as you move forward talking to Mr. Pierce.
Thank you.
Okay, so I think, Stephanie, I haven't heard any objection, but I think the board seems comfortable with you negotiating with Mr. Pierce and, finding best path forward. And if you have any questions, the superintendents are here, and so is the board.
Okay, thank you.
So
Does it need to be voted on, or are you
I
just?
think we should make a motion just because technically use of the facilities is a board level decision. So I don't know what it could be. Maybe just like I move that that the board allow Stephanie Carter to direct the negotiations and make an ultimate decision about the use of the facilities as it pertains to the Boys and Girls Club.
Second.
Any other comments or suggestions? Okay, questions? Okay, I'll go ahead and call the vote then. Ms. Chisholm?
Dr. Acuff,
Yes.
Ms. Coulson,
Yes.
Ms. McKeever,
Yes.
Ms. Osborne,
Yes.
Mrs. Puryear,
Yes.
Wade.
Yes.
Okay, great. Thank you so much, Ms. Chisholm, and Stephanie and everybody for their interesting conversation there. Now, the next thing is the Director of Adult Ed and Apprenticeship Program Manager.
I don't have too many comments. I did want to take the opportunity to say thank you to Dr. Atkins and Dr. Haas for their support in this incredible, just unprecedented time. I have called them both and sent panicked emails and all kinds of things, and I've always gotten a very supportive and caring response. So I just wanted to say that to them, thank them very publicly for all of their support. It's been really incredible. And Jay Thomas and Megan Maynard and other division level folks, Dr. Irizarry, all of the principals in Albemarle County, they really have been amazing. So I wanted to say thank you. I also wanted to thank Shannon is on here, and you're going to get to see her first official presentation to you. Not really presentation, but her comments to you about the adult education program. In a very short amount of time, she has been innovative and creative and really moved our adult education program into an amazing space in an unbelievable period of time. I really thought moving this year into adult education that we were going to, I was really worried about it staying up and running, that it would become financially just not feasible, and she's done amazing work. So I don't want to steal her thunder, but I did want to tell her thank you, and just let our board know what an amazing asset we have in her. So I'm going to turn it over to Shannon.
Thank you, Stephanie. So for enrollment, we did have one class that began last week. All the other fall apprenticeship classes started yesterday night, and so they're Monday through Thursday. We currently have 122 in-person apprentices, so they're physically coming into the building to take face-to-face classes. New this year, we did create some online classes for our apprenticeship programs. We have 77 students enrolled in those apprenticeship classes for a total of 199 current apprentices. That is up 14 students from the 185 that was reported at the same time last year. We have 45 current adult education students. So that runs from our CNA program to auto tech, dental, auto body, those classes. That is down from 73 students that was reported at this time last year. Unfortunately, COVID has and will continue to affect enrollment in the CNA program. And it does limit the number of classes that we can run due to the clinical aspect of it. Now that we did get the notification from the Board of Nursing, we will reach out to some of those other facilities to see if we can come in a contract with them to be able to get some of these adult students through to their clinical experiences. But that was just lifted today. For total adult and apprenticeship enrollment, we are currently at 244. That is down slightly from the 258 reported last year at this time. Our foundation awarded several scholarships for the fall semester. They graciously gave $6,760 to 11 very wonderful recipients and deserving. Our Auto Tech scholarship also awarded $1,850 to 5 recipients. And the way that broke out was it's for 3 first-year students and 2 second-year students that were continuing in the program. And that was all the enrollment information that I had, if anyone has any questions.
Thank you, Ms. Tomlin, and welcome.
Thank you.
Who has anybody have any comments or questions? Okay. We're going to take it easy on you today.
Woo, thank you.
Your first rodeo.
Yes, I'm here sweating.
So I just want, so thank you so much. And then I guess the next thing on our agenda is other business. And I have no other business, but if anybody on the board or the superintendents have business, this is the time. Hearing none, we will move on to our closed session, which is coming up. So I think we have to move to go into closed session, and I think Ms. Carlson has those motions if possible.
I do, Ms. McKeever. I move that the CATEC Center Board go into a closed meeting as authorized by the Virginia Freedom of Information Act, Section 2.2-3711A of the Code of Virginia, under subsection 1 for the purpose of discussing personnel issues.
I won't.
Okay. Did we have any questions on how they move into, have we personally, board members, go into closed session?
I'm gonna launch the closed session right now, so give me just 30 seconds to get that going.
We have to vote, so I'm going to go ahead and do that. Well,
Do we need to vote on this?
yes, that's what we're going to do now.
Okay, sorry.
Go ahead, Ms. Chisholm.
Dr. Acuff,
Yes.
Ms. Carlson,
Yes.
Ms. McKeever,
Yeah.
Ms. Osborne,
Yes.
Mrs. Puryear,
Yes.
Wade.
Yes.
Okay, so do we leave this and then we go to the then we click on the other link for the closed session.
Yes.
Okay,
You
thank
guys.
you. Bye. Hey, y'all. Are we all here? Okay, doke. So I need a motion.
Yep. I move that the board certify that to the best of each board member's knowledge, only public business matters lawfully exempted from the open meeting requirements of the by Virginia law were discovered and discussed in the closed meeting, and only such public business matters as were identified in the motion convening the closed meeting were heard, discussed, or considered.
Second. Can we go ahead and do the vote, Leslie?
Dr. Acuff,
Yes.
Ms. Carlson,
Yes.
Keever,
Yes.
Ms. Osborne,
Yes.
Mrs. Puryear,
Yes.
Mr. Wade.
Yes.
Okay, great. So I think that's the end of our agenda, if I'm not mistaken. And I guess hearing no objection, we'll stand adjourned.
Can we have a motion on what happened in closed session? Did you approve the,
That seems like a reasonable suggestion.
please, please?
Yes, I'll take such a motion to accept the recommendations of the of Ms. Carter.
I move we approve the recommendations of Stephanie Carter with respect to personnel choices.
Second.
We're so close. Okay, go ahead and thankfully you're keeping us in line, Ms. Chisholm. Go ahead and call the vote.
Dr. Acuff,
Yes.
Ms. Carlson,
Yes.
Ms. McKeever,
Yes.
Ms. Osborne,
Yes.
Mrs. Puryear.
Yes.
Thank you.
Yes.
And without further ado, hearing no objection, we will stand adjourned. Thank you all.
You guys,
Thank
thank you,
Stephanie.
everybody. Have a good
Be
night.
safe.
How do I leave? Okay, there we go.